Today I'm doing something that on the surface makes absolutely no sense. I'm cutting down a whole patch of willow to make the woodland healthier. And if that sounds backwards, then stick around, because what actually happens next is the exact opposite of what most people expect. Now, earlier this morning I realised one of the teeth on my chainsaw chain had sheared off, which is never what you want when you've got a full day's work ahead of you. I was cutting some trees down the other day and then noticed it was a bit jaggedy, and I think I found out why. It wasn't very sharp, so I gave it a sharp, and then I discovered that there, which is a missing tooth. But before I can get into coppicing and cutting some more willow down, I need to go to the shop and see my friends at Red Blade and see if they've got a suitable chain in. There we go. Last time I did that, I actually left the brake on and it took ages to sort out. Anyway, that should just lift off there now. I need to remind myself to put it on the right way this time, because last time I fitted it the wrong way around. Coppicing is basically the art of cutting a tree down without killing it. It sounds dramatic, but it's actually how willow thrives. You cut it right back to the stool, and what you get in return is an explosion of new growth. Straight rods, flexible stems, and a healthier patch of woodland year after year. Now, we found that pollarding, that's cutting at waist height, so we're not cutting down to the ground. That seems to work best for the willow that we grow on our site, and we seem to get healthier grow back this way. Humans have done this for centuries, for timber, for firewood, for tools, for weaving, for fencing. And on our farm, it's how we keep the willow beds productive and the ecosystem taking over. Every few years, you come back to the same stool and there it is, fresh growth, ready to harvest again. It's a renewable cycle built into the tree itself. There's no fertilizers, no irrigation systems, no heavy footprints, just good, honest regeneration. So I managed to take quite a few out there, and going to carry on now a bit longer, see if I can get down to this whole row. And when you cut a whole patch back like I did today, it looks a bit like a meteor has hit the place. Bare ground, stumps everywhere, piles of cut willow. But here's the thing, in a few months this whole area will erupt with new green shoots, and by the summer it'll look like a young forest again, and by this time next year you won't even remember that it was cut. This pollarded willow was cut last winter, and all of this growth was over last summer. And the wildlife actually benefits from the cycle too. There's more light reaches the ground, new plants come through, birds get fresh cover, pollinators get more nectar. It's one of the rare land management jobs where you do the destructive looking thing and then it makes the world healthier, not worse. And every time I'm stood in a coppice patch with my saw running and steam coming out my mouth and the mud on my boots, I'm reminded how much working with nature is about rhythm and not about force. You take only what the trees can comfortably give, and then you come back when the time's right. And the land gives you more next time, not less. That's why coppicing has survived thousands of years. It's not nostalgic, it's not quaint. It just works. It keeps the woodland young, and it keeps the materials flowing, and it keeps us connected in a kind of slow, regenerative practice that you simply don't get from industrial approaches. So today, as I cut this year's patch and stack the willow ready for processing, I'm thinking about the people who've done this before me and the people who do it long after I'm gone. And I love that I get to play a tiny part in that lineage, even if it starts with something as unglamorous as fixing a busted chainsaw in the cold. What you're seeing in this video is just the start of the cycle, and over the next months I'll show you how we process the willow, how it's used around the farm, how it becomes craft material, fences, supports, living structures, and eventually how the whole coppice grows back again. Because that's what the heart of this is all about. It's about renewal. The land giving itself back to us over and over. And if we just learn to work with its rhythms instead of fighting against them.